amazing. And I think even better, we've, I think, become really good friends since. So it was definitely a really beautiful experience to share that with Bill and Audrey and Glenn.
Well, and you talk about sharing the experience with them, but I think one of the things that among all of our astronauts, I think you've been one of the most active in terms of sharing your experience. How have you been sharing your experience with the world?
Notice after having flown is, I think people it was cool, but now I see the cogs turning in their head and they're like, what, you actually went? You mean I could actually go? And I think that's been a really sort of profound shift in my ability to communicate what this is all about. And going to space has helped me open the doors for many others, and I hope many more to come.
Well, and Chris, we're going to talk about this a little bit more in the show, but one of the things that we try to do here at Blue Origin, especially with our Club for the Future, our nonprofit that we started in 2019 to engage, kids to get into STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. You are the epitome. You are Mr. STEAM. You want to talk in particular your DJ career in
unlike William Shatner, who's a trained actor, I find it very hard to get my emotions out in the real time. I'm an engineer, and so for me, writing music is a way to really spend time to process and think about how I feel. So yeah, I've been writing some songs about the NS-18 mission, what it was like to fly with my amazing crew, what it was like to be in space with my loved ones and the entire human race down here on the planet. And I have another one about the future coming out soon about how I imagine this will unfold in the future. So for me, music is a great way to share that story with people who might not necessarily know that they can go to space. They might hear the song first and go, what, this guy actually went? It's kind of cool.
Actually going to have you on later in the show, so stand by. But just think about it. All right, everybody. We're at T-minus 21 minutes and 20 seconds to go until launch. Let's talk about the vehicle carrying our astronauts today. Now, the capsule carries the name RSS First Step, which is adorned above the hatch there. You guys probably saw in the image. Jackie, do you want to tell us about what that means? What does RSS mean to begin with?
Absolutely. We love acronyms in the space business, but RSS is a pretty straightforward one. It means reusable spaceship. This capsule in today's flight has already flown to space 8 times. We achieve our long-term vision by building reusable vehicles. Ariane, 99% of New Shepard's dry mass is reused. So everything from the crew capsule and booster to the engines and the parachutes, that number here at Blue.
Reusability is it actually all kind of started with New Shepard here, because step number one, it reduces the cost of access to space. Right? And also, not only does it reduce the cost of access to space, but also it's just kinder on our planet because it reduces the waste. You're not tossing out rockets every time you use them.
Absolutely, Ariane. And New Shepard's engine is fueled by a highly efficient combination of liquid oxygen and hydrogen. So actually, during flight, the only byproduct that you'll see is water vapor.
It's
amazing.
It's kind of like a jacked up steam engine, isn't it? No, I'm kidding. It's actually a lot more complex.
Just slightly more complicated.
A little bit more complex, but no. But yes, but not joking. It is just steam. Just a couple minutes here. It is just steam. Okay, we're at T-minus 19 minutes and 20 seconds. so far. The 25th flight of New Shepard and the 7th overall human flight. Now, continuing the tradition of past crews, I'll say that today our crew made their own postcards, and the postcard program is something that comes from our Club for the Future, as we just mentioned a little bit earlier, our nonprofit that's meant to inspire kids to get into space. And so we have kids draw on postcards what they think the future of space will look like, and then we fly them to space, mark them, send to space, and send them back to the kids. And as you can see here, our astronauts made their own, and those postcards will also fly to space. How inspiring.
That's right, Ariane. And the reason we are accessible to students, we want to see kids world reach for those STEAM careers. And Club recently launched a new online way for students to draw digital postcards and send their art to space on New Shepard. Now, that is something I wish I could have done when I was little, sending art to space. I will say, not just for the kids. I've made many a digital postcard, Ariane.
I've got a couple of them. But seriously, though, Jackie, I think it's really important what we're doing here. I mean, I remember a space project that I did when I was in 5th grade. And when I was 10, and I can draw a direct line from that project to me sitting here today having, working at Blue Origin. I think it's so important.
Absolutely. The work Club is doing is amazing. And they're now also one of 4 founding member organizations in an exciting public-private partnership called Space for All. The goal is to call on students from literally to reach higher, dream bigger, and take that next step into a future space career. Check out their website to get involved. It's really awesome stuff.
Yeah, the club is doing some wonderful work, and it'll be great to see the engagement with these other organizations. Okay, we're at T-minus 16 minutes and 45 seconds to go until launch. Now, I also want to bring our audience up to speed on things that are happening down in Florida at our other launch site, Rocket Park, which is on Florida's Space Coast, where we're getting ready. It's getting really exciting down there. We're going to be launching soon, later this year, our new vehicle, New Glenn. Jack, you want to tell us a little bit more about New Glenn?
That's right, Ariane. New Glenn is coming soon. New Shepard is designed for suborbital space tourism, and New Glenn will be a big, very big next step for Blue. It's and
first time. And this milestone was the first in a series of tests in preparation for New Glenn's first launch later this year. It allowed our teams to test flight hardware and ground software and practice launch operations, which, Jackie, I mean, people talk about obviously the design of the rocket, et cetera, but the operations part of it is just as important, and that's why this was a critical step. Now, as you can see here, New Glenn, in a word, I would say is massive. We're talking 5 times the size of New Shepard, over 300 feet tall. That's over 100 meters tall. And there's a lot of similarities, let's say, between New Shepard and
vertical landing. Similar, but also there are things that aren't quite as visual. So software systems, internal propellant tank designs, and like you mentioned, Ariane, just the sheer experience that we're gaining on New Shepard helps us build confidence in New Glenn's future success. Truly, every time we fly New Shepard, it helps our team learn how to make human spaceflight routine, safe, and low cost. All the key things that will play right into New Glenn.
Yeah. And so, as you can see, things are very exciting in Florida, but certainly, of course, back down in Texas as we get ready for our launch here. We're at T-minus 14 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Now, the mission control team is continuing to go through their final checkouts today. And I don't know about you, Jackie, but I'm starting to feel that pre-launch hype going on here.
The goosebumps are happening. The pre-launch crew.
And a countdown clock to get you a little amped up.
Who needs coffee over here this morning?
Who needs coffee? All right, so let's talk a little bit more. We saw our crew member 7 on the feed a little bit earlier. That was Barrett. We also have a second crew member 7, Laura Stiles. Now, these crew member 7s, you might be kind of confused because you're like, hold on a second, there are only 6 seats in the capsule. Yes, but these 2 crew member 7s are a critical part of the crew.
Yeah, that's right, Ariane. Like you said, the crew that flies to space and back in the crew capsule is a crew of 6. And crew member 7, or CM7 for short, is a pair of people, virtual crew members of sorts, who are part of the entire astronaut crew experience. They're with them the whole time out in West Texas. It's a really, really important role.
So what they do as part of this mission. Let's roll it.
Command engine start. 2.
Crew member 7 is a very unique role at Blue Origin. And traveling to space is an incredibly life-changing experience.
Oh my goodness.
You want somebody who's guiding you through it that doesn't just understand the technical side of the rocket and the launch operation, but also has the soft skills to truly support you through this wonderful journey. That's why crew member 7 is so important. There are 6 people that fly on the New Shepard crew capsule. The 7th person is crew member 7.
We have 2 crew member 7s for each launch. One of the crew member 7s, they are with the astronauts pretty much 24/7. They are staying at the village, they're training them. We have another crew member 7 that serves as capsule communicator.
When they're in the pool.
Everyone on the crew member 7 team has to be comfortable in a really dynamic operations environment. You have to be unflappable in anything that might come your way. We have folks from NASA, we have world record holders for skydiving, a nuclear submarine officer. It's truly a very diverse set of people bringing unique skill sets to the table.
The most important role for crew member 7 is to instill confidence in the astronauts that we fly on New Shepard. And really that comes down to a very good training program.
Safety is absolutely paramount to everything that we do here at Blue as we build this road to space.
We have a crew capsule mock-up where we run through full mission simulations.
Separation confirmed. You are free to unstrap.
So the only surprise on launch day is the incredible view outside of those windows.
This is nuts!
Where and bring that feeling back with an inspiration to protect the Earth, because that's what we're doing this for. We are doing this for the benefit of Earth.
I think it's safe to say the crew member 7s have a pretty cool role here at Blue Origin.
They have an awesome role. I love what I do at Blue, but I do get a little jealous of them sometimes. But no, they are incredible, and they have this really interesting mix, as you've seen, of the really technical side of it, but also some of the soft skills that are necessary. T-minus 10 minutes to go until launch. Under 10 minutes, you know, it's getting real. Although I do see here that we've gone into a hold. This hold at T-minus 10 minutes is a planned hold. So I just want to make sure that that New Shepard is going to follow in just a few minutes.
7, 6.
New Shepard's mission
5,
begins when the
4,
countdown clock reaches 0.
2, 1, 0.
At this point, the engine will start and the rocket will lift off of the pad. It will continue under the boost phase for about 2.5 minutes until main engine cutoff. 20 seconds later, the crew capsule will separate from the booster and the astronauts will unharness and enjoy zero-G. The crew capsule will continue past the Kármán line to an ultimate apogee of 350,000 feet, or 100 kilometers. The booster will autonomously land on the landing pad, ready to be prepped for its next flight. Around 3.5 minutes after separation, the crew capsule provide a nice, slow descent. After landing, astronauts greeted by the Blue Origin ground crew, family, and friends to celebrate and reflect on their flight. New Shepard, an adventure unlike anything on Earth.
All of that, everything you just saw in that exciting video, that's about to happen in real time in just a few moments here this morning.
In just a few moments, but again, we are in a hold, sitting here at T-minus 10 minutes. Again, just want to make sure that our teams are getting aligned here. We've said it before, you know, we've minute is totally fine. Why don't we turn it over to the rocket and watch as she gets ready for her flight to space today. Thank you for joining me. 10 minutes to go until launch. We are still in a hold here as our teams get all aligned for launch today. Now, Jackie, this is the 25th mission in New Shepard's program, and we've made a lot of progress through first the test program, and then we had our founder Jeff Bezos up with his brother Mark and Wally Funk and Oliver Damon. And then, since then, we have been flying people. And so why don't we take a look at how we have gotten here today with New Shepard.
I think that historians will look back at the early 21st century as a really important time in the expansion of humanity into the solar system.
On this journey has changed their outlook on humanity.
Space has always been something I've wanted to do, but it's never been accessible until now.
It feels like a turning point where we can open up this experience for more people.
I think it's so important to start making the demographics of space look like the demographics of our world.
I'm Brazilian and I'm the second Brazilian go.
10.
A new era of the unbelievable, where a teacher from North Carolina gets to go to space. It was amazing. The energy, the feel, everything about it.
There is MECO, main engine cutoff. Look at that view.
Holy.
I don't think I've ever seen anything like it.
And the windows are huge.
Weightlessness, looking down and like pretty cool.
I love every second of it. Woo!
We went to space!
Everybody talks about you have given is the most profound experience I can imagine.
It's just a dream come true. I wanted to do this my entire life.
It's almost like an out-of-body experience to see the Earth from that perspective and understand how small of a part we are of something so large.
One of these people has actually gone twice, so he clearly had a fun time the first time around. And today's flight will bring us up to 37 people. Now, all told, that's about 5% of the people who have ever flown above the Kármán line, which is 100 kilometers up, or of course the internationally recognized line of space. And to stop and recognize, Jackie, is that, you know, we've done this in fewer than 3 years, and think about how many decades it took us as a global humankind to get the first 95%. So it just gives you a little bit of perspective on what New Shepard has done so far. I should also say, captured in that 31 people is also 9%, so almost 10% of all women that have flown to space. On this a little bit earlier too, is this is an international program. Today we have Sylvain Chiron from France. That's the first person from France to fly with us. Not the first French person to ever go up into space, but the first person to fly with New Shepard. Gopi Totakura, who is a dual citizen of the US, but also of India. We're making this very international. We're also starting to open up space for countries that have never been to space. So on our flights, our previous flights, we've had the first Egyptian, the first Portuguese, the first Mexican-born woman. I mean, it's it's really, it's touching. As somebody who is also international, I should say I'm half French, like it's really wonderful to see that part of what New Shepard is doing for all of us. Okay, we're at T-minus 10. And until then, why don't we toss it over to the right and watch as New Shepard gets ready for space today. Thank you again for everybody for joining us this morning. We're at T-minus 10 minutes to go until launch. Our team continues to be in a hold, just making sure that everything is aligned. Weather's looking good for launch as well. And we will be back when the team Thank you again, everybody, for joining us for New Shepard's 25th mission to space, the 7th human flight. Now, we are in a hold. We continue to be in a hold. My understanding, though, is that we have gone escape-enabled, which means that the escape system in the crew capsule is ready to go if need be. The other thing that I should note is that we expect to clear this hold shortly. The go-no-go, and that, Jackie, is when things get real before our flight here. So with T-minus 10 minutes to go until launch, why don't we throw it back to the rocket and wait just a moment as we get ready for the go-no-go poll.
Green board. Go for launch. Cleared.
Everybody, we're T-minus 9 minutes and 30 seconds to go until launch. Now, while a little scratchy there, what we did here is indeed we are go for launch on New Shepard's 25th mission to space and our 7th human mission to space. Well, and now that we're go for launch, which, by the way, never gets old to hear, why don't we go ahead and meet today's crew? Jackie, take it away.
Let's do it. With a lifelong passion for flight. In 2001, Ken started the nonprofit Science Buddies, a K-12 program created to improve STEAM literacy. And flight is just in Ken's blood. This is really cool, Ariane. Back in 1922, Ken's great-uncle Franklin stepped into the literal future when he flew a Curtiss Model F flying.
Cool.
And like his uncle, Ken will be a pioneer in his own right today, helping to open up the frontier of space. In seat 2, we have Carol Schaller, a retired CPA from the best state in the United States, Pennsylvania.
You're a little biased, I think. I think that's what we're reading.
Just a little. In 2017, Carol's doctor told her that she would likely go blind. And since then, she's made it her mission to see the whole world. And she Uganda mountain gorillas camped on the Antarctic plains at 20 below zero. Clearly nothing is holding Carol back. She told us that seeing Earth from space will fulfill her lifelong dream.
Now, next we have Sylvain Chiron on seat number 3. Sylvain is the founder of Brasserie Mont Blanc, one of the largest craft breweries in France. And he was born, importantly to today, he earned his age 16 and has been flying airplanes ever since. So aerospace is certainly in this man's blood. In seat number 4, we have Ed Dwight. Ed was selected as the nation's first black astronaut 61 after completing the elite U.S. Air Force flight training program, known at the time as a pathway to the astronaut corps. Now, Ed to space, but he became an entrepreneur. Ultimately, he fulfilled his other childhood dream of becoming an artist. And now we have had the great pleasure of sitting down with Ed in his studio earlier this year. Let's check it out.
So let's walk this way into the studio. There's a group of people who know me as Ed Dwight, the artist. And they had no idea that I was involved in anything about space. I did everything that we did, I did. That goes up there, all the can bring together.
I have to agree with Ed there. It's an honor to fly Ed on board today.
It truly is. And next, in seat number 5, we have Gopi Thotakura. Gopi is co-founder of Preserve Life Corps, a global center for holistic wellness and applied health. He's a lifelong pilot and aviator. And fun fact for you, Ariane, Gopi learned how to fly before he learned to drive. And Gopi flies jets, bush planes, aerobatics, seaplanes, you name it, and he flies it. It's pretty amazing.
I love it. Now, last but not least is Mason Angel in seat number 6. Mason is the founder of Industrious Ventures, a VC fund supporting early stage companies. And Mason calls Colorado home, where you might find him skiing or hiking in the Rockies with his dog, who is named Leo. Down for low Earth orbit. So in case it wasn't clear, we've got a couple of aerospace nerds on board. They fit right in here at Blue Origin.
Yeah, when you have a dog named Leo, You're certified space nerd.
It's a sign.
It's official. And with Mason, that rounds out our crew today. 6 incredible people that are all ready to have the ride of their life on New Shepard.
Now, ride of their life indeed is coming up here in just 2. Becky, at 2 when we go into our bit checks, our built-in tests. But just as importantly, more importantly, the rocket goes into its autonomous mode. So at that point, mission control is there, but they turn the show over to the rocket. So what we're going to be looking for there, the aft fins. So you see a couple of the fins sticking out there at the base of the rocket. Those are going to move full run. We will then also keep an eye out for the BE-3 engine at the base of the rocket to gimbal. So the BE-3 engine, there's one of those at the base of the rocket, liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen, propelling New Shepard today. And as you mentioned earlier in the show, as we see the rocket lift off, what is expelled is just steam. So people have asked, well, what, to wrap into millions of people living and working in space for the benefit of Earth. We want to make sure that we are not contributing negatively. So, of course, that's a wonderful part of New Shepard. So with that, we're going to keep an eye out here for the last-minute checks on the vehicle. We do see that the gantry has been retracted, which means it is showtime. The fins moving back and forth. There are 4 of those fins, 1 on each quadrant. And at this angle, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see the BE-3 engine gimbaling back and forth, but the gimbal of the engine plus those fins are what direct the rocket both on ascent, but obviously the rocket, because it comes back to land, also upon descent. Of course, taken off. All right. Final countdown. Let's turn it over to mission control. Let's light this candle.
8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Ignition. And liftoff.
New Shepard has cleared the tower. The rocket and our astronauts are heading up to space. Now you can follow along on the bottom left of your altimeter on the left. Excuse me, altimeter on the right and the speedometer on the left.
Feet.
All right, as we go through this flight, there are a couple of milestones here. The first one will pressures are the highest on the vehicle. We go from 100% power, pull it back a little bit as we go through max Q, and then ramp her back up to 100%.
Okay, maximum pressure.
50,000 feet.
Max G should be in about 10 seconds.
Whoa.
Max Q, everybody, for joining us for New Shepard's 25th mission to space. So far, a nominal flight. We have gone through max Q.
100,000 feet.
and the vehicle will continue to full power of the BE-3 engine. Be cut off. You will know when that happens when you see the glow of the engine at the base of the rocket go dim.
Miko.
There we go, main engine covered.
Passing 200,000 feet.
Now with the main engine cut off, with the BE-3 the BE-3 engine, vehicle continues to climb up towards its apogee, but as you will see on the left side, the speedometer will come down, and once that speedometer hits 0, that's when you know exactly that the vehicle apogee, its highest altitude in the flight of the vehicle. Now I understand that separation of the capsule from the booster started for our astronauts. Shortly here, we're going to let them unbuckle and enjoy the beauty of floating around in zero-G, but of course, the spectacular views out of those windows. And I'll say that having passed over 330,000 feet, they are over the Kármán line, so welcome to space, astronauts. And there we go. Apogee at just about 347,000 feet or so. Figure at the end or after cast. At this point, our astronauts are still enjoying that beautiful zero-G up in their capsule. All 6 crew just officially became astronauts. So exciting. Now, thank you again for joining us for the 25th mission of New Shepard, our 7th human flight. And I'll just acknowledge that the milestone figure on the left is a little bit out of sync, but that's okay. Follow along with me through this flight. I got you covered.